This video is just a quick reminder about how to cast off a knitting project. When you've knitted your fabric or your pattern and you are done with your final row, it's important to make sure that we bind these stitches off correctly to keep your project from unraveling and to secure the yarn. So in order to do that, we're going to do this today using a knit stitch. There are other ways to do this, but for my beginner 101 students, I teach this just using the knit stitch. So we're going to do that. If you need help with the knit stitch itself, there is another video that goes into a lot more detail than what this one is going to for that technique. Okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and knit a stitch here. And we have one stitch over on our right needle. We're going to go ahead and do the next one. Okay, so when we have two stitches on our right needle, we're going to use our left needle on the very tip here, and we are going to take this stitch, and I use my fingertips here to hold this and keep it from slipping off. We're going to use this stitch, and we're going to pass it over the other stitch. Okay, we're going to do that again. Now, another thing to remember when you're casting off is to keep these stitches very loose. If you get these stitches too tight, your fabric will cinch up when you're finished, and it won't give you that nice shape that you're probably looking for. Okay, let's do the next stitch here. There we go. Okay, and we're going to take this stitch here and just pass it over and hold on to that. You're going to be upset if this slips off there. So hold on to that and pass it over. Okay, and then right here, I actually bring it up just a little bit, just to give myself a little bit extra space, make it a little bit looser, and it just helps that cast off be nice and loose. So let's do a couple more a little bit faster. We have another stitch here. We're going to pass this over. Oh, I kind of covered that up for y'all, sorry. Let's do the next one. Okay, so right here, we're going to do our stitch. And we're going to pass this over. Okay, this stitch here. There you go. And so you always have two here, and you're always passing one over the other. If you ever end up with more than one or two loops on this right needle, what probably happened is that you knit a stitch and forgot to bind one off and just kept on going and knit another one. So if that happens, you need to backtrack just a little bit to get back to one and then two loops and then back to one. Okay, so here we'll knit, loop that through, and here we'll knit. We're going to pass this over here. Some patterns will call this a cast off. More than likely the pattern will call it a bind off, but it's the same thing. Okay, it's just binding off these loops so that your project cannot unravel. Alrighty, so that's how we cast off here. We're going to take a look right here. See those stitches? They're nice and bound off. Okay, we have our last stitch here. So what we're going to do here is cut our yarn. So I'm going to show you exactly what I'm cutting so you don't get scared. Okay, you have your project, you have your final loop here. You can take your needle out. I just kind of hold on to that loop and leave yourself about a 7-inch tail. My students all know I recommend a 7-inch tail unless you need to use it for sewing, then you need longer. So cut your yarn and then just pull this through and the end will pop out, and when it does, your work is now secured here. Okay, so it's not going to unravel anymore, and if you've kept that nice and loose, it should have a nice stretch to it. I hope that helps. Let me know if you need more help. Thanks.